This is your daily dose of all things royal. Welcome back, my gorgeous, good-looking friends. Today's video, we're going to go on a little rant. As many of you know, Prince Harry's in the UK to celebrate the 10th anniversary of the Invictus Games. Now, while this charity started off with all good intentions, from what I see now is it's being used as a vehicle to promote Harry and improving his brand. The biggest gripe that I have with the media right now is seeing the coverage and how the coverage is pushing a certain narrative, a narrative of, oh, the family is so cruel for not supporting Harry and attending his 10th year anniversary for Invictus Games. What a great accomplishment, blah, blah, blah. What's laughable is that chief propagandist Jack Royston considers himself a journalist when he puts articles like this out into the public. Clearly, this is a paid puff piece because this whole narrative is biased and skewed towards not only trashing King Charles, but the whole family at the same time. What bugs me about it is the blatant disregard for the last 6 years and the trashing that Meghan and Harry did onto the family to give the reason for King Charles and the whole entire family snubbing Harry and not supporting him. Like, why would you support someone who has been repeatedly trashing on you and destroying your good name? You wouldn't want to engage with them, but these people, when they write these articles, they make it as if none of that ever happened. And it's the fault of the family because of who they are, and they're so racist and seizing upon this false narrative that's being amplified online by the hired and paid Sussex squatties and bots. The Sussex PR machine went into full effect, in which, in a rare statement by, I'm guessing, the new PR press secretary or deputy press secretary, issues a statement by saying, in response to the many inquiries and continued speculation on whether or not the Duke will meet with his father while in the UK this week, it unfortunately will not be possible due to His Majesty's full program. The Duke, of course, is understanding of his father's diary of commitments and various other priorities and hopes to see him soon. Now, here's the thing. On the surface, this statement shows a level of understanding and being reasonable, but we know Meghan and Harry are nothing but unreasonable and immature human beings. So rather than else stopping right there and that being enough, they need to, as with all the other puff pieces that the Harkles are putting out at the same time, copying the same statement, to rehash the past. As in this article, Elle states, since he and Meghan stepped back from their senior working royal family roles in 2020, now mind you, we are in 2024, when are they going to let it go? The relationship between them and the royal family has been strained. Of course it has, but they don't tell you why it's been strained because they keep with this stupid narrative that is completely false. Says in arguably further proof of that distance, earlier today, Buckingham Palace announced that Charles is handing over Harry's military role as Colonel-in-Chief of the Army Air Corps to his brother, Prince William, on May 13. Now, why shouldn't King Charles go ahead and hand over this title since Harry's not doing his duty anymore? What, leave it open and not being taken care of? Like, you see the stupidity of this couple and the immaturity by making it sound like, oh, well, it's another jab to Prince Harry because he left the family. But in any case, I continue on. The royal family also quietly took down Harry and Meghan's individual bios from their website in March. Meghan and Harry now have a combined bio page that mentions their decision to step away from their working royals. Their children, Archie and Lilibet, had their biographies removed altogether. Oh, the cruel royal family, because this is what they want you to think. In November, royal reporter Omid Scobie spoke to Elle.com about why Meghan and Harry aren't about to imminently reconcile with William in particular. Meghan, for her part, has stayed out of the UK since attending the Queen's funeral in September 2022. Scobie explained that even if Harry and William were to mend their relationship someday, I don't think it changes Meghan's position. We've seen her in the last year really establish herself as an independent individual that is not riding on the coattails of her royal past or really even interested in being involved in that world, he said. I know her team spoke about how she wasn't coming over for the coronation because of Archie's birthday, But I also know from speaking with people that there was also a desire to stay away from the noise and hysteria that comes anytime she sets foot near in the country, let alone the family. And the way they were treated during the time of the Queen's death and the funeral really enforced for her that she had not only made the right decision, but didn't want to go anywhere near it again. Okay, so we're going to stop right there. Clearly, as you can see, how they're positioning Meghan as being this strong, independent, confident woman, mind you, has failed at everything over the last 5 years, and then making it sound like, well, it's Meghan's choice. She doesn't want to make amends because she's better and above the royal family. This is the arrogance and air of this couple who are putting out this garbage. But here's the problem. Here in the United States, because the media is so controlled and what is being pushed out by the mainstream media is blatant propaganda. And a lot of people who don't follow this saga day in, day out and know all the dirty things that this couple have done don't really see that the family is in the right for doing what they did. They see, oh my God, yeah, strong, independent Meghan Markle. Good for her for walking away from that. I agree. Like, why would you want to be around a group of people who are so toxic when in reality it's the reverse? And this is the problem that we have, and the reason why these corrupt elite parasites that are here in the United States wants to take away freedom of speech. I think all this censorship that we're seeing, and yes, we're going to go back to that because it's getting worse right now. What we're seeing is these elites pushing harder because of what may come in November. But in any case, what I think needs to happen is not so much censoring the American public and its citizens. I think it should be focused on keeping integrity of journalism, because what we're seeing now of everything that's put out is not actually the truth and reality. This is all about selling people and manipulate the public for selfish gain. One thing that I notice about Meghan and Harry and their PR tactics is very similar to how politicians here use PR, publicity, and social media. The tactics are very dirty in the sense of they've got this online army that is directed to not only amplify certain messages, but then also act in some way as controlled opposition, to where like maybe someone might be managing an account where there's 3 other accounts associated. 2 of them talk praise about Meghan Markle, and then 2 of them talk nothing but hate for Meghan Markle. And this is all done to control the optics depending on what narrative that they're trying to spin. So if the narrative is, oh, there's too much hate speech online, and here you have like the squad who's amplifying the greatness of Meghan, and then you have a couple rogue ones that are coming out like saying, no, this is, just saying the most vile things, which we know that they do, and blaming it on, the regular people. They do this because they need to create this facade in order to make their point, because they believe that they are right in what they're doing. This is standard for what Meghan has been doing the last 6 years. And the same goes for other topics that we see out into the world, which a lot of the misinformation is being done by the very same people, again, I've stated this, that want to control that speech. The issue that I have with all of this is the media's role that they play in here in manipulating the public and reinforcing not only the lies, but the narratives that are being paid for. Honestly, if these people are so gung-ho to be passing policy and regulation and banning speech, let's start with banning or reenacting banning domestic propaganda. I think a lot of the problems that we're seeing in society is a result of the media gaslighting the public. We definitely need to get back to journalistic integrity and holding not only the journalists, but the broadcasters and media outlets accountable. They should be responsible for what they put out into the media. I mean, if they're going to come down on us little people who are just voicing their opinion, then I think that some type of repercussion should come to those journalists who choose to lie to push a narrative. Pushing narratives for Meghan and Harry, we see through it, but does the rest of the world see through it? And that's the problem I have, is that manipulation. It's that control and trying to force us to think something that is not actually the truth. Like, take today, Harry arriving at St. Paul's Cathedral and he gets booed. Why are they writing that he got a friendly reception and people were cheering? Sure, there was one squatty screaming at the top of her lungs like an irritating banshee. People screaming traitor is not a sign that they were happy to see him. So come on, GB News, what's going on here? Why are you playing the game now? I think the one bright shining light about this is what we're seeing with Harry's visit to the UK is that people just don't care. They're not interested in seeing him, nor care about what he's doing. And I think the same goes for Markle because they haven't done anything. And what they have done has not been of any kind of substance. They've been so hateful and divisive, as well as, let's not forget, hypocritical. So people just don't care to hear what they have to say because they're not important. I find it so hard to believe when I see the stories come out about Harry and Meghan thinking that the royal family owes them an apology and can't understand why the family is staying away from them. Like, I can't believe that these two honestly feel that they've done nothing wrong in their actions. The lies that they told on Oprah, the lies in Spare, the interviews that they have done, as well as the behind the scenes PR manipulation. They know, rather than admitting the malicious assholes that they are, they'd rather claim ignorance and keep pretending that they are so virtuous that they deserve this apology from the family. A family who did absolutely nothing to Meghan and, in fact, gave her more than enough than she should have been given in the first place. But this ungrateful, greedy little wench found out that she can't walk all over people, and I'm glad they showed her the door. And right now, nobody's feeling sorry for her, and that's driving Meghan mad. So what does she do? Well, she has her rabid fan base now concocting all these malicious stories about William and Catherine, because if she can't be happy, then nobody else can be happy. And if she can't have the crown, then no one else can have the crown. And that's exactly what she's doing here. I'm going to end with this, but I do think that the royal family are partially to blame for this mess because they should have cut the head off of the snake from the very beginning. And I mean that figuratively by stripping those titles and making them Mr. and Mrs. Mountbatten Windsor and sending a clear message that they are independent now and are going to be financially independent. Charles should have stopped funding this couple and allowed them to go off and live privately, but they didn't. So the question is why? Why didn't they put their foot down when they were doing all these things in 2020? Well, I've shared my thoughts on that in previous videos, and I still believe that we were not told the truth about Megxit and what really happened. I do believe that Megxit was a distraction. I do believe that there was something else that we're not being told as the reason why they came over here. But I'll leave that for another day. What do you guys think? Do you think that, like, right now what we're seeing is the downfall of Meghan and Harry? I think they've been over, but do we think we're going to see Meghan in Nigeria? Let me just put this fact out there. Meghan and Harry never confirmed the dates that they were going to Nigeria, so nobody knows if they are going to meet up in Nigeria, if after this UK trip, Harry's going to fly to Nigeria. The media, once again, put that into the public domain. There had been no confirmation that Meghan and Harry was supposed to arrive in Nigeria for this date to this date. So do we think Meghan's going to be in Nigeria this week? I don't think so. I think it's going to be like everything else, just one big distraction. But what do you guys think? Definitely leave your thoughts below. As always, I will be back with more content. But until then, please be safe, and I'll talk to you later. Bye!
Such a fraud.